Hello everyone. So today I am going to be doing a small town romance recommendation video. I'm very excited. I have a huge stack of books right here to share with you. Small town romances are one of my favorite romances of all time. I love that trope. I just read an amazing small town romance that I'm very excited to share with you. So let's get into it. The first book, I don't remember what order I did this in, but is Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. So this one is actually the second book in kind of a duet-ish series. So our heroine, when she was in the small town with her sister in the first book, she met this guy and he is a crab fisherman, and when she left to kind of go back to her job and her life, they struck up this friendship and have been texting ever since, her being in this town, and it is so cute. And so she is really into movies and figuring out soundtracks for different movies, what songs would work with different movies, and she's on this project where they need a new location, and she recommends the place where he lives in, like the small town she was in the first book. And so she goes back and she actually has to stay with him, and it is so adorable. Friends to lovers. He doesn't feel like he's good enough for her, and she's like, you are, and it is just so good. I really enjoyed this one. Lots of small town vibes. She has a grandmother that is hilarious that she talks to all the time, and I just love this book. I thought it was so much fun. If you want a lighthearted, fun summery romance, I highly recommend this one. Okay, the next book I want to share with you is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. This one is another small town romance, of course, and our heroine, she has recently lost her mother, and she wants to go back to the small town where she grew up and her mother grew up, and go on these hiking trails that her mother loved and would take her when she was younger. And so she's staying at this, like, a house that has like another like apartment kind of thing where she is staying, and she finds out that the son of the host that she's staying with actually set this all up without his father's knowledge, and so she is so embarrassed, and the dad is so mean. He's like, I never agreed to you being on our property, like all this stuff, and so he finally kind of lets her stay. It's very grumpy sunshine also, and she is like, okay, I'll help you out and do things and hang out with your son, and his son is older, like in his teens, and I love their relationship, and he is so protective over her, and they become fast friends, kind of. It's slow romance and slow burn romance, and they become friends along the way, and he gets worried about her when she's on these hiking trails, and it's just so good. Very slow burn, small town goodness. Absolutely love this book. This is actually a different cover than the like original cover, so just know that. I just wanted to mention that this is a special edition cover, but I love this cover and I always want to show it off when I recommend this book. But definitely go check it out. It is such a great read. Okay, so this next book is actually a second book in a series, but I feel like you could read it out of order, and that's Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. This one is the second book, like I said, and I recommended this actually in a video maybe a week ago now, but I just love this book so much. So our heroine, she just had a baby, and she is kind of lost in what she wants to do. Her parents are very wealthy, and she didn't tell them who the father of her baby was, and they're very angry at her for that, and so she leaves to go be on her own and figure out her life on her own. And so she goes to this small town, and she's helping at this hotel slash inn, and she's staying at this apartment of this guy who's very grumpy, and she thinks he hates her, but he actually likes her, and because she has a newborn baby, she's like up all night with him. Nothing will help, and he slowly starts being like, hey, I can help you. And they start this slow burn kind of romance. She really likes him, and he's slowly starting to fall for her. He didn't want to fall for her. Definitely grumpy. I can't remember if she's sunshiny. I can't really remember, but she is just needs some help, and he is there for her. He's so sweet, and I just love this book. It felt so cozy and just like a warm hug, and I really enjoyed this one. So the next one is if you want a more of a spicy small town romance, and that is Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is another single parent romance, and so our heroine, she's coming to town with her best friend, and the hero needs a new nanny, and he has found like nobody else, and so the heroine's best friend is like, hey, I'll set you up with my best friend. She is amazing. She would be amazing with your son, nannying him. And she and him have a really weird meet cute. Like, it is so funny when you read the book. And when he sees her, he's like, no, she cannot be my nanny. In his mind, his only reasoning is that he's attracted to her. Like, she is so hot, he can't like stop himself, kind of thing. And so he finally agrees to, because her and his son have a really good relationship. And he, I think, is like 5 years old, and their relationship is so cute. And the hero is not necessarily like, it's not hate to love. He's just like grumpy, and she's very sunshine. She's such a fun character. She is kind of like the life of the party, and he's like, I'm just grumpy and want to be on my own. And she's like, well, I'm here for you. And it is so good. I really, really enjoyed this one. Very spicy for the spicy scenes. So good. Of course, I have to mention Flawless, which is the first book. It's before Heartless. I highly recommend reading this book before Heartless, but you definitely don't have to. And this one, our hero is a bull rider, and he has one of his sponsors is a milk company, and he's videotaped saying this comment about milk, like he hates drinking milk, and everybody's like, whoa, but one of your biggest endorsers is a milk company. And so the milk company fires him from their like PR team or like advertisement thing, and he is like, I need to get my stuff together. His PR team is like, you need to have somebody watching after you so you don't make any more stupid comments, aren't going out with girls, kind of refurbish his reputation. And so our heroine is tasked with that duty. She's kind of his babysitter a little bit, and it is so funny. He really hates her being there because he feels like he doesn't need her there, like he can be on his own, but she's like, I need to be here to watch you. And they start a romance, and it is so sweet. She really has they both have judgments about each other. Like, he thinks she's this like high uppity woman, and she thinks that he's this kind of like not smart guy and just doesn't take things seriously, but he does, and she learns that. She's also the daughter of the head of his PR team, and so her dad's like, you better be nice to my daughter, and it's so funny. But I just love this one. It is super sweet, but very angsty because they cannot be together because that would break protocol, and kind of working together romance. Very action-packed with the bull rider stuff. I really enjoyed this one. The next one is probably one of my favorite small town authors, and I love her even more than Devney Perry, which a lot of people, their favorite small town romance author is Devney Perry, but I love this author way more, and that's Catherine Cowles. I just adore Catherine Cowles. I think she is one of the best small town romance authors. I love all of every book that I've read by her, I have sincerely enjoyed. So this one is the first book in the Tattered and Torn series, and I highly recommend starting with this book first and this series first, because this is, I think, her best work. And once you get used to her writing and fall in love with her, I would recommend going then to her other series. But this one is so good. So this first book, our heroine sorry, that is another heroine in this series. Everly is the daughter of this guy who is known for being very doomsday, and so when she is younger, her father kidnaps a young girl, and so in the middle of the night she goes to the sheriff and is like, my dad kidnapped this girl. And so she's kind of like the hero of the day, but people don't view her as that in the small town. They view her as like an extension of her family, being like she's very malicious and all this stuff, but she was actually the one who saved the little girl. And so she went away from town for a couple years and is back in town at her familial home, trying to refurbish it and actually build an animal sanctuary there. And our hero is the sheriff of the town, and he is actually also the brother of the girl that was kidnapped. So he holds a lot of blame towards Everly, but it's not necessarily, he really blames himself because he was supposed to be watching his younger sister at a carnival, and so he like kind of blames himself for what happened to his younger sister. And so something starts happening where Everly is being followed and all this weird stuff is happening. So he's like, okay, I can be here to protect you and all this stuff. And they slowly start to fall in love. And he slowly starts to have feelings for her, but it's very hate to love at first. I just love this book so much. I love this book. It is so good. Very action-packed. More than the other books that I've mentioned, and I just adore Catherine Cowles, so definitely go check this one out. 2 more Catherine Cowles books I want to share with you, and that is Reckless Memories. This is the first book in her other series, which I really highly recommend. And this one, our heroine lost her sister, and she's always been in love with her sister's boyfriend, and he left for years and is now back in town, and she's so mad at him for leaving because she's like, well, why did you leave me when I needed you most when my sister passed away? Like, I know you were grieving and all of that, but I really needed you too. And so they're kind of rekindling their friendship. She was best friends with him also, and kind of she still has feelings for him, and he doesn't realize that she has feelings for him. And it's really good. They start hanging out more, and he realized that he really likes her, but he's like, no, that can't happen. I was with her sister. That's wrong. And then all this weird stuff starts happening where the heroine is getting these really creepy, threatening notes pertaining to her sister's death also, and he's like, well, I have to protect you, and they rekindle their friendship, and it slowly becomes a romance, and it is so good. Lots of action. Highly recommend this. The next one that I have just read in the same series as the third book, I skipped the second book in the, I can't remember, the Wreck series, because I've heard it's not that great, so I just went on to Wrecked Palace, and this one was amazing. This is a single parent romance, and so our heroine, she had to assume custody of her 3 younger siblings because her parents were both drug addicts and went to prison. Her mom went to prison. Her dad is still kind of on the run. And so she's been taking care of them since she was 21 years old. And over the years, she has gotten to know the hero Griffin from when he comes into her store, and she is like the head chef at this like general store, and she always tries to make him like a sandwich that has veggies in it because he doesn't like vegetables, and it's just so cute, their interactions. And so he realizes that she needs some extra help with money. And so he's giving her this job of being his private chef, where she'll make all these meals for him. It's really just something for her to be able to get money, because she's too proud to just accept money, which I totally understand. So he kind of made up this job for her, but he really does use her, and they start forming this really great friendship, and he is forming relationships with her younger siblings, and it's just so beautiful and so adorable. I love his relationships with her siblings. It's just so cute, and he is so sweet. Everybody views him as like the black sheep of town because of something that happened in his past, and I just, I love them. I love Griffin so much. And then something starts happening where she thinks her mom is back in the picture, and all this kind of weird stuff starts happening. There's always something weird happening in Catherine Cowles' books, but that leads to suspense. So I loved this book. It was so good. And the last one, well, the second to last one, is Lessons in Corruption by Gianna Darling. I had to mention this one. This is a small town motorcycle romance series. And so the first book is a reverse age gap / teacher-student romance. And so our heroine is older, and she is kind of wanting to get out of her marriage, and she ends up divorcing her husband. And she sees this guy who is this like beautiful man, and she's like, I want that. So that's why she kind of divorces her husband, but she also realizes that he's not the one for her, and she was kind of groomed into marrying him from her parents. Like, they were next door neighbors for years. And so now she sees the guy that kind of made her, you know, really take that punch in divorcing her husband or separating from him, and she kind of spends the night with him, like hanging out with him, and then the next day she finds out he is her student. And it is so good, very angsty. King is the hero, and he has a very dirty mouth. He is the son of the president of the MC club in this small town, and he just wants to take care of Cressida, and I just love him so much. This is such a sweet but very spicy romance, and I just love it. Highly recommend. And And then the last one I want to share with you is a book I feel like it's kind of underrated that not a lot of people I've heard read, and that's Revelry by Candy Steiner. This one is such a fun book. So our heroine is recently divorced and she decides to go to a cabin for the summer and kind of revitalize herself. She owns a boutique and she's really into fashion, so she's trying to find inspiration again. And she moves in next door to her neighbor, who is very grumpy, doesn't really talk to her, and she just wants to get to know him. And everybody's like, he's the grumpy one of the small town, and she starts to form a friendship with him, and it's really, really cute. They're next door neighbors, so he like helps her with like different things around the house that she needs help with, or she like kind of connects with him. I can't really remember that well, but he has like a lot of demons, I remember, and he just has a lot of stuff going on in his mind, and she kind of has a lot, so they kind of connect over that. And I just remember there was a character in here that the heroine was really close with, this older woman who she would spend her time with, and it was just so funny and just such a fun book. Very small town vibes, and I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend this one. Alright, so that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had so much fun talking about all of these books. I'm definitely in my small town romance era. I am just loving small town romances right now. So thank you so much for watching this video, and down below let me know your favorite small town romances, because I would love to know. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon.